Ooh, oh shoot, forgot to put the mic on. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Okay, Brittany, time to stop. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Long time no see. I say that at the beginning of every video, so it's getting a little redundant. I just want to say I'm super excited to be back with you guys. We are going to be doing a little bit of something that I was inspired to do by Bailey Sarian. If you guys haven't heard of Bailey Sarian, you gotta check her out. I will link I will link her information below, but she does a series called Murder, Mystery, and Makeup Mondays. And she basically does her makeup and then talks you through a true crime story. I absolutely love the format. I think like she is so cool for thinking of this because on its face there are two very unrelated things, but it comes together so perfectly. I'm like always so pumped for Monday now, like for her video. Bailey, you're a goddess and a queen. And I'm also wearing Bailey's merch. But I just know that I like listening to true crime. I like talking about it with others, but there's no way I could do that shit myself. I think there are certain people who can do it and certain people who can't, but I was thinking I want to do my makeup, but I do feel like the age of the tutorial is kind of, it's dying, it's dead, and I'm personally not super great at tutorials, so I thought that today what I could do instead is walk through a movie that I really love. So movie and makeup, I love movies, I watch all kinds of movies. Most of my friends would argue that I watch bad movies, and I'm not saying they're wrong. Today we're going to be talking about Jawbreaker. Now, if you guys have never heard of Jawbreaker before, it is a cult classic that was released in 1999, and as most of my favorite movies did, it bombed in the box office. But it has since gained a really like intense following, and now it's just one of those movies you watch and you can't help but like be in awe at its ridiculousness and also kind of cringe but also laugh. It's just all around an enjoyable movie. So today I'm going to be taking you through Jawbreaker with Brittany. Jawbreaker with Brittany. I got a new mic. Is it working? Is it working? ASMR. Is this how ASMR works? Okay, I'm sorry. I've laid out a little bit of makeup, but in true fashion, I'm not actually going to be talking about the makeup. If you want to see what I use, it'll be listed below. I could drink like 800 lattes a day. Go ahead and comment below if you're a caffeine addict as well. All right, guys, let's get started. Also, I have eyelash extensions, but they are in their tragic last legs, darling. So please don't judge me. All right, so Jawbreaker, as I said before, was released in 1999 and starred what I would call my original Mean Girls. We've got Courtney Shane, who is played by Rose McGowan, aka that girl from Charmed. I'm sure Rose McGowan is in other stuff, but why I can only see her in Jawbreaker and Charmed right now. Why? Then you also have Julie, who was Rebecca Gayheart, also known as that Noxzema girl. Also the killer in Urban Legends. Spoiler alert. And then you have a girl named Marcy Fox. And I'm not even gonna lie, I don't actually know anything about Marcy Fox. She goes by Foxy in the movie, but I don't know her as a recognizable actress in the world. Maybe I should look her up. Maybe that's rude. Her name's Julie Benz. Okay, it looks like she was in some Saw movies, some CSI, a little Supernatural. Okay, the girl's been around. The girl's been around. Anyways, so these three girls make up a part of this quadruplet, and they rule the school. Their fourth counterpart is a girl named Liz Purr. Now, I actually did look up Liz Purr. It turns out she was Miss Puerto Rico. Oh no, we've lost another eyelash extension. Liz, Courtney, Julie, and Foxy, they rule the school. They're the prettiest girls and most popular girls in the school. So the movie pretty much opens up with Liz Purr sleeping peacefully in her bed when three strangers bust in, and they are wearing like creepy those little like clear masks that have like, you know, they're clear but they like have lipstick and blush It's freaky, man. And they tie her up, they shove a jawbreaker in her mouth, and then they put tape over it, and like, you're like, damn, this girl's getting kidnapped and the movie just started. Liz Purr gets thrown in a trunk, and as the car takes off, you find out that it's her three amigos, the best friends in the world, who actually kidnap her, because apparently this was a thing that 90s teenagers did. Can anyone confirm? I was 11. And also, I'm just gonna say this now, if any of my friends are watching this, if you kidnap me, we will subsequently then not be friends. Just FYI. So they pull up at this pancake house. They got like your old school Polaroid picture frame. They open the trunk to take a picture, and tragically the jawbreaker has lodged itself in Liz's throat. Now I remember watching this as a kid and being like, ugh, that's gross. When I recently watched this movie to like get back into it so I could get all my thoughts together for this, I had a really hard time looking at her. It's gross, guys. So anyways, she's dead, and they start freaking out. And Courtney Shane, who is your evil villain, she's the glue that holds this shit show together. She's like, I'm not going to jail for this. And Julie, Heart of Gold, she's like, no, we've got to tell the cops. Basically, guess who wins? Courtney. And by the way, Foxy's just like, oh my god, I can't believe it. So basically they pull up with Liz's body in the trunk of the car, and Courtney calls into school and tells Miss Sherwood, who's played by Carol Kane, an icon, that Liz is sick and that she won't be in, and if someone could send her homework home for her. So these girls go to school, and Courtney's like, you need to walk into this school and strut your stuff like everything is fine, and it doesn't matter that our best friend is dead in the trunk. A tragedy. So they go to school. Things are pretty much moving right along. Now, these girls rule the school so much so that when they get into the bathroom, they tell all the girls to leave, which just seems like totally ridiculous. Like, what? The reason I'm mentioning this part is because it made me laugh so hard. Carol Kane walks in and she said, are you girls in here for a smoke, a toke, or a poke? What? Anyways, they start going to class, and some weird stuff happens through the day, as I'm sure you would have a tough day at school if you had just killed your best friend. I mean, I'm just speculating here because I don't kidnap people on their birthdays. While they are in school, the teacher, she's talking about Beowulf or something, and she's like, I know you kids can't relate now with your acne masks and corn dogs. Were teens in the 90s really into corn dogs? Can anyone confirm? They leave school, and Miss Sherwood has asked Courtney, our pinup bully, to pick up the homework for Liz. Courtney forgets, which, I mean, like, it seems like this day of all days you would remember to do something for your dead friend in the trunk, but Courtney, she's like, oh shit, I forgot to do that. Fortunately, Fern Mayo, who is just an icon in her own right, comes in to ask Miss Sherwood if she is going to supervise the garden club party, which I don't know how they turn it up, but they need a chaperone, you know? You can't just go gardening in other people's yards, you know? You need a chaperone to make sure you stay in your lane. So Miss Sherwood's like, yeah, bitch, I'm gonna be there, but can you take this to Liz Purr? In which Fern says, oh, you mean meow? Liz is the cat's meow. I'm not a teaching administrator, but I would imagine that maybe I wouldn't send Fern. But regardless, Fern goes to Liz's house to take her homework. Courtney tries to catch Miss Sherwood, and basically they say, you know, we already sent Fern over there to drop off the homework. Courtney's like, well, shit, we gotta beat her, which is pretty easy to do because they have a core, and Fern's on foot. So with Fern being on foot, it's gonna take her a little while, and she's also in dreamland because she's super stoked to be going to help Liz. They get to Liz's house and they drag her body upstairs, and Courtney comes up with this idea that they're gonna make it look like Liz was into some little kinky stuff, basically that Liz would seek out some pretty weird guys, and that one of these guys, raped and killed her. Now, Julie is really upset by this whole thing because Liz is actually a virgin. But Courtney's like, people are gonna believe it because it's their worst nightmare. Which, honestly, like, I do think people are like that sometimes. Like, I just think people are more likely to believe things when it's like, oh, somebody good has a really weird, creepy streak. People are like, oh yeah, of course, I knew they couldn't be good, which is like messed up. Why is that like our society? Moving on. They're trying basically to position Liz in a way that would make it look like somebody had attacked her in her bed. And her parents are on vacation or something, by the way. So they kind of have time to work their magic. But for some reason, they're doing a lot of excess talking. I mean, maybe the 90s, they don't have a good understanding of time or whatever, but Fern is on her way. While they're up there, Julie finds this card, which I don't know if they make them anymore, but they're the ones you could record your voice. She hears Liz's voice and she starts freaking out because it's very emotional because they killed her friend. And Courtney's like, listen, I killed Liz. I killed the teen dream. Deal with it. And so obviously Courtney don't give a damn about your feelings. Okay, also I'm doing something really weird with this makeup and I'm just hoping that you guys are with me for the ride because it's about to get freaking weird. So anyways, it's at this moment that Julie is really like, I can't do this, I'm getting out of here. And she opens Liz's bedroom door and who's there? It's Fern. I told y'all she was gonna be there. So Fern's there and she's looking at them and she's like, hey, and they're like, oh, hi, Fern, what's up? Courtney's like, what did you hear? I need you to tell the truth, blah, 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 blah. And Fern's pretty much having an emotional breakdown. Things are actually going okay. I mean, I would have to say, for me watching the movie, I think Fern is handling it better than I would have handled it. She's kind of like, and then she sees Liz dead with the Jawbreaker in the bed and she starts running. She's freaking out. I don't know how, but she's wearing like flat orthopedic shoes and somehow Foxy catches her in heels. And anyways, Courtney gives an interesting speech about how she knows that it's probably hard being Fern because everyone ignores you and she's the shadows and the pretty people are the sun.
There's nothing to hide, Fern. You're nothing. We're everything. You're the shadow. We're the sun. But I'm here to offer you something you never dared dream of. Something that you were never meant to be, but will be. Because today, Fern, my dear, fate has decided that you are cool.
Because then you have this weird Tim Burton-y weird scene.
Some gilded, some gold. Color, the secret, not for a moment.
We cut, layer, and curl.
For a look that is you.
For the hair of a dead girl.
We use model glue.
Lips full.
Plush.
And dark.
A fine line that traces a deep crimson heart.
Rest now, sweetness.
Till the day all shall see the beauty we molded from sheer misery.
And Fern then subsequently is agreeing to keep this secret. Like, you're gonna make me beautiful, I'm gonna keep your secret. And Julie just has nothing to do with it. So in the next scene, Julie is sitting with some pretty weird people at lunch, but Fern comes in and now Fern is no longer Fern Mayo, she's Violet. And I didn't realize it's V-Y-L-E-T-T-E. Fancy. They're introducing her as Violet and they're basically saying that she's a foreign exchange student, which I thought was kind of weird. Fern Mayo, aka Violet, is trying to navigate this new world of like being cool, right? So her first mistake is bringing lunch to school and she brings a tuna sandwich. And like, listen, I think you should eat whenever you're hungry, obviously. I don't have a problem with it. But one of my favorite lines from this movie is Courtney Shane's like, she's freaking out that Violet brought food to eat. And she's like, listen, food is cool and all, we need it to live. And when we eat well. She's basically saying like, they're not they don't starve themselves, but you cannot eat at school. All you can have is a Diet Coke. Now, it also happens to be that Liz's parents have now come home and they found Liz dead in bed. And so now you've got your detective, who happens to be Pam Grier. She is badass. So she's in this movie and she is doing this interrogation of all the girls and all the people in school. And Julie wants to tell the truth, but Courtney pulls that classic one on here. You guys know what it is. If you were there and you're the one who decides that you want to tell, everyone's going to say you did it. So anyways, Julie's like, well, I can't tell anyone anything. Fern and Julie actually talk on the phone that night just to talk about how everything is going, but Courtney calls and basically makes her hang up on Julie so that their friendship is terminated. Basically, the first time that everyone was interrogated, Courtney Shane pretty much said she didn't know anything about Liz's whereabouts or anything like that. But the second time, she actually builds this story about Liz going to this freaky bar where a lot of weirdos hang out and like hooking up with this guy. Now you find out it's actually Courtney who goes to the bar. She puts Liz's body under her bed and hooks up with a guy on her bed so that they can find his fluids in the bed. And the guy is no other than Marilyn Manson. And he looks creepy as hell. I mean, Marilyn Manson back in the 90s already was creepy, but he really went for it. And so Marilyn, I appreciate you for doing what you had to do for the role, man. And it's funny because Rose McGowan and Marilyn Manson actually dated for a little bit of time. So anyways, now Courtney can put her master plan into motion. She visits Pam Grier again, who is known as Detective Vera Cruz. And she tells the detective all this whole long story about what Liz was into and where she used to hang out. It's verified, and at the same time, Julie, who has started dating the drama genius of high school, and they're kind of talking about this new foreign exchange student, Violet. Julie tells him that, well, Violet's really Fern Mayo. And he's like, well, how the hell does she look like that? And Julie's like, well, Courtney did it. And he's like, why would Courtney do that? And then she pretty much spills the beans immediately on a murder, which I'm not judging her, but like, based on the fact that someone said they was gonna try to throw you under the bus, you could keep the secret for longer than 24 hours. But she didn't. She tells him, and he's like, well, we gotta do something. Like, what are we gonna do? She's like, I don't know. We're just gonna have to go to the police and tell Detective Vera Cruz. So the next day at school, they're planning on telling Detective Cruz what's going on. They're gonna be good people, good Samaritans of this world. We need more of them. Unfortunately, as we build up to the time where they are going to visit Detective Vera Cruz, Violet is using her beauty for all kinds of things. She's got this shiny red Corvette with a license plate that says bitch. That is very 1999, early 2000s, let me tell you. Oh my gosh. She's also wearing only pink, which honestly I'm living for, but variations of like neon and baby pink, love it actually. And she's starting to rule the school. She's become the most popular person in a span of like 48 hours, honestly. Courtney and Foxy are pissed. Courtney's like, don't worry, I'm gonna get her in line. Foxy's like, I'm freaking out. So we can see that their very important like 72-hour relationship is crumbling. I thought they were better friends than that, honestly. At this point, Julie and her drama boyfriend are talking to Detective Vera Cruz, and before she can say anything, Detective Vera Cruz is like, listen, it's okay, honey. I know it's hard. I just want you to know we arrested the guy, so you don't have to tell us about Liz's crazy antics. And Julie's like, what the hell are you talking about? She's like, well, we knew Liz was into some freaky stuff, and it's hard to admit that about your friend. Now, also, not trying to judge Pam Grier, because I don't want her to come over here and kick my ass, but that's just bad police work. If someone's like, I have information for you, why don't you just take it? Because it could be a setup. So, Detective Vera Cruz is leaving because she's got the info she needs, and now Julie is like, this is bullshit. Courtney is gonna get away with it. Now, on the other end of school, Courtney is freaking out on Violet. She's like, you need to fall in line. And Violet's like, I'm the popular girl in school and I know you killed Liz, so back off, bitch. And the next day, we turn back up at school. Violet gets out of her car only to see posters are everywhere. Now, I don't know how the average man, woman, or child would get these posters as high up on the school as they did, but they're everywhere. And it says, "Who is Violet?" And there's pictures of Fern Mayo on it, which just, I mean, like, y'all couldn't tell that Fern got a makeover. Like, people really couldn't see her that much. In fact, at one point, Miss Sherwood says that Fern Mayo has been tardy from school. So either she's really deep diving into this new persona, or Miss Sherwood was just like, I have no idea who this new girl is who's in all of Fern Mayo's classes when Fern is not. So just a thought that maybe we should be paying better attention to the folks around us. Fern, aka Violet, gets out of the car, sees the posters, and people are being so mean to her. So Fern actually passes out on the concrete, wakes up. The nurse is like, "Fern, are you okay?" She's like, "Why did you call me?" She's like, "I gotta get out of here." So Fern escapes and runs right into Courtney and Foxy, and they laugh at her and they're like, "You're nothing." Courtney's just like, "How's it feel? I told you I ruled this." So Violet, aka Fern, I'm just gonna call her Fern. Fern passes out again. This girl has a concussion for real and needs to go to the hospital. But she is left in the hallway for so long that Julie and her drama boyfriend they find her there wrapped in the posters. Kids are awful. Fern's like, "I'm so sorry, I was such an asshole, like I'm the worst." And they go and they visit, I'm pretty sure, some kind of memorial to Liz, just to talk about how like everything is so messed up, there's nothing they can do. And while they're there, they find a card, just like the card that was in Liz's room that can record your voice. And when Julie opens it, wouldn't you know, it says, "I killed Liz. I killed the teen dream. Deal with it." From Courtney. Dun, dun, dun. So now they've got some evidence, and wouldn't you know it, tomorrow night is prom. Julie, drama boyfriend, and Fern decide to go to prom. And the drama guy is also apparently an AV technician, because he's gonna hook up this card that you get at Walgreens for like $7. And he's gonna hook it up to the surround sound system in the school, and they're gonna play it. But it can only work if Courtney wins prom queen. And won't you know it, she wins, and we are all happy. Fern and Julie included. Courtney heads up to the stage. She's like, "Oh my gosh," they have balloons falling. Everyone's like, "Oh, I love Courtney," which is crazy because she's so mean to like everybody in the school. I can't believe they're cheering for her. But Courtney gets on the stage and she's like, "Thank you, Miss Sherwood, blah, 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 blah." And the guy, drama boyfriend in the back, opens the card and you hear it echoing over the whole gym. "I killed Liz. I killed the teen dream. Deal with it." And people are like, "What? That was weird." Then Courtney just still tries to give her speech. She's like, "Thank you guys so much." Drama boyfriend says, "Nope," and turns off her mic. Mic's dead. Mic does not exist anymore. Courtney looks at Miss Sherwood and she's like, "Miss Sherwood, fix it." But you know those cards, once they open, they don't stop. And at the very front of the crowd, there's these three girls. One of the girls is from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The other girl, I have no idea, but the other girl looks like 45. And this is something I talked about with one of my friends once, that why whenever they have these movies, they like get the oldest people to play high schoolers. It's like, have y'all ever been to a high school? Honestly, what's going on? In the crowd, this girl in the front, she's like, "Oh my God, that's her voice." And people all catch on at the same time. And they're like, "Oh, what a bitch." And then she starts walking off the stage to try and escape. People start pelting her with freaking, what are those things called? Corsages. And they're like, "How could you?" Because I don't know if I told you guys this, but Liz Purr was like the nice one of the group. Everyone liked Liz, and they were all, you know how people be after people die. They'd be like, "Oh my God, we're best friends." But people really did actually like Liz and thought she was a good person. So Courtney is like walking down the stage and she's like, "Ah," and she keeps doing this. So her hair is getting toe up from the flow up, y'all. And people are just saying like the most vile I mean, she said meaner things, but they're really going for it because they're mad. And honestly, I don't blame them. I mean, how you gonna just kill somebody and then say it like that, especially when you're supposed to be friends. So at the end, guess who's standing at this line of thrown corsages? It's our girl, Julie. Julie, who's been abandoned, and she's standing there with a freaking Polaroid camera. Courtney gets to the end and she's like, oh, Julie! And she looks bad, you guys. I will try and insert a picture, but she looks BAD. And Julie goes, smile pretty, Courtney, and gets a picture. And wouldn't you know, they put that picture in the yearbook. I mean, not for real because it's a fictional story, but that's how they show it at the end. That's pretty much the end of the movie, you know? Courtney gets her due date. I don't know what happens to Foxy, you know, no one ever really says, but Foxy was evil too. She shouldn't have been going along with that. That's no good. I'm sure Julie and Fern become great friends, and Fern still keeps the makeover. I mean, she still looks great. I just wonder where she got all those new clothes from, you know? Where did they all come from? And all the new jewelry and stuff. So that's the story of Jawbreaker. And we did a little makeup look that's a little bit clownish, where we're serving it to them with some blue and green and pink, okay? But I like it. It goes along with the Jawbreaker theme. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little recap of Jawbreaker. There are really no spoiler alerts. I think you have to stop saying spoiler alert once a movie is 20 years old, you know what I mean? Anyways, you guys, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Please let me know if you like this. Did you like it? Actually, question of the day. I'm gonna do this again because I enjoyed it. So the question of the day is, should I do another comedy or should I do a horror movie? Because those are my two favorite genres. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.